Yeah.
At the beginning it was just me, then some other guys. Then there was some many people, and then it went to just a couple people, like 7 or something like that. And with this amount of people, we started to work on the space engineers, and we kept it on these low numbers until the launch of space engineers, maybe a couple of weeks, couple of months later. And then we saw that people are interested in the game, so it's safe to invest more in the development. So we started to hire more people.
And so that's it. So actually, there's to begin with, there was more people working for Minor Wars, and then it went down again for space engineers, and then now it's on the rise now, isn't it?
Yeah, but the thing is that with Minor Wars, we wanted to finish it as soon as possible, and also I don't think it was the best approach to get so many people, because at certain moment or at certain point it's just not effective and also cost effective to add more people, because sometimes it's like if you have one guy, he makes work of one guy. If you have 2 guys, they usually don't do work of 2 guys, not even 3 guys. They do just 1.2, and then you have 10 people, and they are not doing work of 10 people, but maybe work of 3 people.
Yeah, and it's not business sense. That's not worth it, money. And
also, when you have so many people, then you have also you need to manage those people, and you don't have enough time to think through all the core details of the game. Just spend weeks and weeks of thinking about your game and dreaming kind of, then designing and so on. And so it's more about supporting all those people than about focusing on your vision.
Yeah.
And this is what I wanted to change in with space engineers. That I just wanted to focus on my vision with the game, to think the entire future of the game, couple years in the future, and have just few programmers who are really good to do those things.
I think you're right, because you said the point is there was people who shared the same vision as you. Yeah. And I think Thomas was saying how well, you said before that having more people wouldn't help, because there's not many of you. You can communicate well, and like you're saying, more people's not better. Because here you can speak to everyone. In a big studio, you'd have to send an email, or there's I don't know, something like EA, thousands of places. Here you can just you know everyone, and you get to just speak to them.
And also the progress.
Keep an eye on the game.
Person is having is easier to track and actually get some feedback from it. And by this I mean that when there were only a couple of guys like Tomáš and Ondrej, Peter in the team, I could see every day what they were progressing, what problems they encounter. We could discuss how to get through those problems and so on. And so I was more connected to the development.
Yeah.
Whereas where you have, for example, if you're EA or something like that, and you have thousands of people in the company, then you are basically not managing the actual products. You are managing not even managing people. You are managing teams of people. Or
teams,
yeah. So that's a completely different story. And so with Space Engineers, I actually wanted to have my hand on the development.
Yeah, and you can keep an eye on everything. And I guess also, you get the kind of final say, don't you? Almost with things, and you can.
I was really strict with some things when we were just preparing Space Engineers for the launch, and I'm not saying that everything was just according to me, but if I felt that I don't want something, or then I was the one who had the last say.
Yeah.
But after we launched the game and even hired some new people and get more used to them, so we could trust them. That was the moment when I started to pull myself off a little bit. So right now there are actually sometimes Thursdays where I don't see the feature. Where I see the feature just before it's being.
Okay, because you've got lots of things to manage now, I imagine. Because when you were small, you were probably doing a lot of the art and programming and stuff. Am I right? And nowadays, because you've got people and you've got all the managing jobs and all the paperwork.
Hopefully, I try to stay away from paperwork and all these things. But where I want to focus my time is actually like thinking about our future and preparing for the future, you know, and like planning and stuff like that. And so for me, it's better to actually just like sit and think about things and prepare for those things than to just react on some events that are happening around me. That's the idea. And I think the guys, they are doing a great job. And basically what I realized was like, I can be micromanaging the entire development forever, you know, or I can pick out the right guys who I can trust and who were already doing a great job, and just trust that they will do good decisions, and they are doing so. I mean, I'm not completely unattached from the development, so from time to time I kind of push or like refocus on long-term ideas that we have, because the thing is that the guys who are actually developing the game, they are so much absorbed by the development that sometimes they may not see the future as clearly as I can see it, because I have the time to see the future.
Yeah, well, they're
fixing bugs and improving, so they cannot see like 1 year in the future, 5 years in the future.
And have you had a good think about or thought the long-term future? I mean, do you have? Obviously, you wouldn't have to say, but do you have a lot of ideas for future games? Maybe 5 years time. Is there other ideas that you want to do, but they're not either suitable for space engineers or just not the same? Have you got many cool ideas for future projects?
Yes. And by the way, this is one of the things why we are doing the AI.
Yeah.
That's a long-term project.
Yeah. Super secret. And with all the updates, I mean, do you reckon? I don't know what to say. Because you're adding features all the time. Do you think you could just be adding features forever? I mean,
yeah, this is a good question. I actually believe yes, that this is like with ideas and creativity and all these things. One thing I know for sure, it's like my belief, my religion kind of, is that I think we cannot get rid of them, or we just cannot like use them all, you know, like, because whenever we get some idea, we implement the idea, always we got some new idea, like a combination of existing things and new things and so on. So I think we actually can keep going forever with space engineering.
Yeah, and leading on to that is, have you had a thought recently about the format of, because obviously it's an alpha now, could it be an alpha forever in terms of like Minecraft, you just add stuff, or will you eventually say, I don't know, maybe December or whenever, you might say, right, that's now it's time to go beta. Have you had? So I remember you mentioned a while ago. You said that potentially you might just stay as it is and just keep adding features. You might have to slow down and stop and fix some things. But yeah, that's the question.
I believe that even if we like finish the alpha and go to beta, and from beta to finish the game, even after this point, we would be adding features. I mean, at least until the game is profitable. But it doesn't look like it will ever stop selling.
That's good. That's good. Well, that will lead on to another question. I mean, you haven't posted for a while. How many copies of Space Engineers have sold roughly? I mean, has it hit 1 million yet?
It's close to 1 million.
Close to 1 million. Is there going to be some kind of celebration or?
Yeah, we will prepare something.
Cool. Yeah, I look forward to that. But did you expect Space Engineers to be this successful? Because it really is. When I say it's the best game I've ever played, I wouldn't be lying. It truly is. I mean, it's just for me, what it's about and what you can do in it. For me, it blows my mind. You know. So, did you know how successful it was going to be, or did you just hope?
We hoped for this, but you never know.
Never know, no.
You know, like it's like you can die tomorrow, and so you never know.
It's true, you can. Yeah.
And but we hoped for it, and we made some decisions that increase the chance that the game will be successful. And but you never know. And even if you make some next game, it can be a total, like, you know, like bad game, or nobody would be interested in the game. So I think there are no sure things. You can just try to increase your chances, and
yeah, I think there's another question someone asked me. Do you have a favourite sci-fi series?
yeah, of course. I watched like Star Trek.
Yeah.
Battlestar Galactica and
Battlestar Galactica. That's how I always imagine battles in Space Engineers.
I'm definitely a sci-fi fan.
Yeah.
And I guess the majority of books I read were sci-fis. And yeah, it's really interesting that we're able to make Space Engineers. So it's actually fun to play, or at least that's what people say.
Oh, it is. But but what's your favourite? Could you name your favourite?
TV show?
No, yeah, sci-fi.
You mean like my favorite sci-fi movie?
Yeah, oh, movie or series, yeah.
Well, that's
It's a tough one.
It's many. It really can be many, like from Aliens to even Star Trek was kind of fun, and Battlestar Galactica was fun.
I love Battlestar Galactica. That's my favourite. Well, no.
Actually, it is really many, and then definitely there are some that were not interesting for me, but I like many. I liked Terminator, which I should probably say with your AI project.
Yeah. Oh god. And that probably means. Do you reckon King Software House? Can you see yourself? Looking at what you've done in the past, it's clear that you like space games. Could you see yourself making a non-space game? Yeah? Yeah? I'm sure you have lots of ideas of what that could be. Because I mean, it's. I think there was a question about the Virage engine, about maybe. It wasn't. There's something about licensing, because obviously it's not licensed to the public. Have you ever considered doing that? Having let people like. A bit like how CryEngine, and they let people either pay or sometimes free. Have you thought about that?
No.
No.
It's just some random ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe we don't even need to if we open the game for modding, and people will be able to use our modding API to write their own games. And then maybe it will just eventually lead to somebody writing some cool mod. And when he will decide that he wants to release it as a standalone game, maybe then we'll start and look on it from this licensing point of view.
Okay.
And or maybe even sooner we will announce that this is possible, and if people want to do it. I mean, right now, if there is not a chance or not a way how to alter the game, or at least script the game without our source code, it's not. But what I would not like to be is a company that's just developing an engine, and other companies are actually building games on this engine. That's what I wouldn't like to be.
Okay, I see what you mean.
That's not the funny part. You know, the funny part is where you're actually building games.
Yeah.
Not just engine. Engine creation is cool, but it's just one part of the entire fun.
Because when was the Virage engine? When did it first? I can't remember. I've probably read it before. But when did it first? Yeah. When did the day you started making it? Which year? Which?
Well, it would be probably 5 years ago.
Okay.
Or 6 or 7. It's probably where I started to work myself on Miner Wars. That was the first moment.
It was asked in the Q&A a couple of months ago, and there was a thing about putting people's mods into the vanilla game. And now that workshops come out, it may have changed your thoughts about it. But say that again, that was asked. I've had about 10 people ask me about modders and non-modders, about putting modders' creations into the base game. And you said last time that the reason you hadn't was there was things to do with permissions and stuff, and that it had fallen by the wayside a bit. But have you thought any more about that?
Actually, yes. A week ago we discussed this, and there were two ideas. One was to find a couple of mods that we want to have in the vanilla game, in the main game, and ask the creators, for their permission to use it. This was one idea, and the second was to just include their mods as default, like pre-download
default mods,
for other people, and we didn't do anything in this direction right now, but we can always reconsider this thing later. And but there are still some
legal stuff,
I think this can be fixed. Just most people, if they want to have their mod in the base game, will give the permission.
Well, I haven't spoken to a single modder who would care, because it would be an honour for people to have something they made in their free time in this this amazing game. So I think there'd be no modders who would have a problem with signing a piece of paper saying.
There's also one purely practical reason why we are postponing this, and it's that our 3D artist, he's redesigning, retexturing all models.
Yeah.
And if we add more new models from modders,
just keeping
he will just have a lot more work.
I see what you mean, because so if you include them in the game, you'd almost take care of them from that. So you would.
He will redo them slightly to fit the final look of
the style,
of the game. And they are good, but nobody the final style would look slightly different.
Yeah. Because obviously there is a thing, you see, all the blocks, the vanilla blocks, they all look like they should be there. And there's some mods that do look like they could be in the game. If you never played Space Engineers before and you had this mod on, you would just think it's in it, because it looks very authentic. So, and the stuff that isn't authentic, it's not really an issue, because it's amazing stuff and plenty of people play it. But as a product, as the base game, you want to keep authenticity, all the time. So yeah, that was a question about that. And you obviously, do you get much time to play and look at the people's mods and stuff they make?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I check the mods every day to see what new is there. And
yeah, same actually. Yeah.
And also I check workshop, and from time to time I try it. I play with it, and I think I will continue with this. This is basically one of the best things about Space Engineers, is that we create something, then the community create a lot more things, and we have a chance to experience it.
Yeah.
So you feel like a parent, you created something, and now your children, but you don't want to say they are our children, but it's a little bit similar to this, that we can see their creations and be proud what they create.
And that is probably the most satisfying thing, seeing the thing that you've made and seeing so many people have so much fun with it, and that's what I think for me, what Space Engineers is. It's so satisfying, be it a mining freighter or a battleship or something. It's so satisfying. You build it and you look back and thought, that looks awesome. Or a mechanism, and. Say for you, and I know there's been things in the past. I remember you remember it was a while ago. The Parasite, the mining rig, the red one that had all that drill for the asteroid. I remember there's stuff like that which you didn't. There was things that you didn't think was possible that players almost teach you, from their creations.
Yes, some of the things. Many of the things are really surprising, and this is one of the best moments where you feel proud.
Yeah. As one of the things that I saw, a couple of things I saw in the workshop recently, there was one thing was a guy made a custom character without a helmet, and that was the weirdest thing ever, because it was weird seeing a human head in Space Engineers. There was a mod somebody made, and that reminds me actually. There's some of the pictures from when you first made. I think it was concept stuff. The astronaut originally didn't have a helmet. Am I right? Or it was just like a soldier.
You mean the concept art pictures we made a year ago?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, we did, at the moment we didn't have the astronaut model. It was just being in the progress, being modeled. So we had one soldier, and we used this soldier model for everything.
Oh, okay.
And so there are these funny pictures, like there is soldier just walking, you know, on a spaceship.
Yeah.
And so, but later we had just the astronaut with no face inside. You know, it's just the helmet.
Yeah.
And there are also some practical reasons, like for example, we didn't have transparency back then.
No.
And also, it's if you don't need to do facial animations, it's a little bit less work, you know.
It is, yeah, and it's also quite hard because with the faces, you kind of have to decide on the style of the faces, because you can, you know, it can vary of how cartoony or how real the face. You'd have to kind of choose. A style of artwork for the face, whereas the astronaut, you don't have to worry about it, you can just cover it up.
It's quite generic, so that was one of the artistic directions we chose with space engineers, is that we wanted to make universal and generic, like Lego blocks.
Yeah.
Nobody tells you if it is Americans or Russians, nobody tells you if it is, I mean, yes, there are some Lego sets with Star Wars and Batman and these things, but the basic Lego is just some blocks, you know, and nobody tells you what it is. And we wanted the same thing for space engineering.
Okay, yeah.
So that's why there is no politics, you know.
Politics, yeah.
Nothing like that. Well, there are still some blocks.
There's rails.
But as you mentioned, with making things out of blocks that are already in the game, it's actually one thing that we want to explore later in future. And just think about this, that if you have a block that's made of small blocks, and you work with the entire thing as an entity, so then you can build a landing gear from rotors and pistons and things like this, and then reuse it in different places.
And that was a question that, again, people have...
Actually, rails.
Rails, yeah.
Some times ago we felt so much we want to add rails, then we kind of forget about this.
Yeah.
And focus on other things, but I think we'll look on rails again.
Are they easy? Because there's people trying to work out how maybe they've been delayed. Well, they didn't know that maybe they've been delayed because
like we just went different.
Okay, but they wouldn't be too hard to implement. You just got to get around to it.
Rotors and the pistons are much harder, because there are some there are just some say this, like precision issues, especially with pistons. And when you are doing some physics calculations, at some moment you can get really unstable, and there's not much we can do with this, and because that's just the way how these physical equations work. And but I still hope that we'll find some solutions. But I think rails are a lot easier and stable than pistons.
Oh, cool! Yeah, people will be pleased to hear that anyway. Yeah. So this is how they release updates in Space Engineers.
Yes.
Couple of clicks.
Yes. Currently it's on our internal branch, so I will just give it to everyone. So are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So this was the first part.
Boom.
And now there is a second part. And that's it.
Wow. Simple as that. And right now people are going crazy.
Yeah.
let the mayhem commence. I like that picture. All right. This is the tester's room. I'm gonna come sit in this chair. Oh. So now,
yeah, first is what I do after Andre informs me that that he has published the update. I post it on forums. This is a changelog.
yeah,
So
there it is.
here, and everybody knows that.
And everyone will hopefully be very, very happy.
Yeah.
Do you look forward to Thursdays or dread them?
No, it's like the best day in the week. You know, like that's the whole point of the week. You know, Thursday.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, the Thursday is like the new Friday. Yeah, and I guess it varies from week to week how yeah, how Fridays can either be quite hard work getting all the bugs everyone's found, or can Fridays sometimes be quite easy, or do you start the next update for the next week on Friday sometimes?
Probably start next update sometimes on Wednesday, sometimes on Thursday. For example, just now I discussed with Andre next and the next update.
Yeah.
And usually sometimes it's not Friday. Yeah? It depends just how the time went. And so, but the idea is that we actually have only until Wednesday to prepare for the Thursday update.
Yeah.
Because if we think about this, there is testing, and then we need to make the video. So we actually cannot finish it Thursday 5 p.m. or something like that, because it would be too late. So it has to be finished 2 days before, and then it's just being tested, and also the video is being recorded.
Yeah.
There's like, who's there?
Yeah.
A couple days ago, we didn't have this, so it was just empty.
But actually, to be fair, is it 1-to-1? It's a bit small. It's it'd be a bit small, wouldn't it? If it was life size, it's pretty close.
Yeah.
From actually maybe it's just a bit smaller than me. Maybe he's like, you know, this height.
He's supposed to be like you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's small, and maybe we had to reduce him so he fits in the window.
It's really cool. I love it. And that's another thing. All these. Have you ever considered like making like a merchandise for Space Engineers? Because I would so buy a Space Engineers mug, or you know, or a poster or something. Because there's
just today we discussed this with George, and he will look in some options, and we'll see.
Yeah. Cool. So I mean, a couple of things that have been asked a lot of times, but it's a couple of months down the line now. And have you had any more thoughts on, let's say planets? Say, I mean, you know, since the game release, people have been going on about it, and you said maybe in the future and stuff. I mean, has there been any kind of advancements on that?
There are some things we are experimenting with, and we know how to do this. It's not something that's completely impossible. It's just that up until now we are focusing on other priorities. It's always just about the priorities.
Yeah.
It's not like, I mean, usually we ask ourselves what's the most important thing to do right now at this moment, and in regards also to the future. But this just wasn't the most important thing. But at some point, when the game will be more and more finished, it will become one of the most important things probably.
Yeah.
So there is only the only thing that would stop us would be if it is technically not possible at this computer technology. You know, but we have some ideas. One of them is this floating point precision thing, which it kind of depends on Havok, which we use for physics, but we think we can solve this. But again, maybe we'll just hit a wall and we will not be able to get through it.
Okay.
So that's still possible. That's why we are not announcing like, guys, we will do it, because there is still a chance that we will not. And or the cost of getting through it would be too high.
Yeah.
And the second is how to say this, like right now all these asteroids, they are stored in memory voxel by voxel.
It's performance, and you know you can't have it that big because of performance.
Yeah. Memory, mostly memory.
Yeah.
And we have some ideas how to make actually procedural asteroids. So in that case, we would not need to store all the asteroids in the memory. They would be in memory just like a function, mathematical function.
Okay.
And so they will be these asteroids. They will be not like individual voxels, but just like fractal thing.
Oh.
And so they will at some moment they may get converted to actual voxels, but only if you do some change damage or something like that, or maybe only to part of the asteroid. So it will be chunked in pieces, and if there is an asteroid, a big asteroid, it doesn't matter how big it is, it can be like kilometers big, and if it is just this fractal, then the memory consumption is almost zero, basically.
Yeah.
But if you shoot to it, or like dig or something, then we convert that part to voxels, and the remaining part will still be fractals. So this is the idea that we actually want to do sometime. Okay, and this is another thing, and that's this atmosphere, and stuff like that.
Yeah, because I said that's another question that goes along with the things that you said. Maybe it might be possible. Well, I think you said it was possible. It just you needed a good reason for it, and I'm sure there's lots of arguments. And there's people saying, this and that, and there are other people saying, no, let's not have it. And I think someone said that the best thing if you did have it would probably make it an option, so people could still have fun and not have to worry about it. But for the more people who like realism, they could have that experience.
I think we will get to many more features in future, and it's actually best if I don't say no.
Yeah, because it makes people angry.
I also don't want to promise things or like give false
false hope.
False hope, yeah. But I mean, we are making this game for people, and so if they want something, and we see from comments and from everything that many people want something, that we go, that direction.
I guess the only other thing that is a thing that people have always been on about is the whole AI NPC things. Is that another thing in the future? Maybe, but you can't promise.
It's maybe, and it's just that, as I said, right now we are focusing on finishing these sandbox features, and we are not focusing on game AI so much. And it's also like a matter of focus.
Yeah.
Especially my focus or Andrei's focus. It's because it's easy to hire a few more programmers and tell them like, guys, just do AI, but that's not how we do it. Like we need to think things through completely and see the vision and everything. And so we would need to think about AI for a couple of days, couple of weeks, see what we actually want to achieve, what's the end goal, and then how to get there as fast as possible, and with these incremental weekly updates. And if we just hire some random guys and give them the job, it just wouldn't work. So it's better to not do it.
Okay.
So we will get maybe we'll get to that point at some moment in future, and then we will focus more on this task.
Yeah, and is AI something that you would actually quite like to see in the game? Because I know at one point you said you wanted the players to be other people, multiplayer experience. But I appreciate there's some people who either don't have good internet or they just prefer playing single player. So is it something that you would like to see?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Because especially when we want to have some kind of scenarios for the game. Maybe even campaigns or things like that in the future. Cool. And it's really hard to do it if you don't have AI, because it's like Lonely Planet kind of thing. You can do nothing if there are no enemies or no some other entities.
Sure. Okay, and then I've got one about it kind of goes again with the planets and maybe our atmosphere, is like volumetric water and liquids. is that something that... Cause I think that the person who asked it said that you spoke about it before, that the engine can do it, but you stayed away from it for now.
Yeah, and the reason is that we are thinking about liquids and water, and especially, I mean, if in future we make planets, then it's quite a logical step to add water to it. And the thing is that we have analyzed how to do it, and it's just not the top priority right now, especially because it's really a huge task. And to do it optimally, that means the performance wouldn't kill everyone's computer. It's also challenging because it's something dynamic. You have a lot of changes happening somewhere. Like somebody will dig a hole, the water will need to flow in there. Somebody would want to take the water to some a glass or something like that and move it somewhere else. Then you would throw something to the water, and this thing would need to swim on it.
It's all physics, isn't it?
And then you will put some concave or convex object on it, and it like a ship with a hole versus normal ship with no hole, and so all these things will need to be considered, and it's really a lot of work, and we just don't want to focus on this right now. And I'm not promising we'll do it one day, but we are definitely thinking about this.
Cool. I say so. Now I've got one about. It first was like a field. The idea of having a field tool is the ability to place rock back onto an asteroid. Because sometimes if you're building your base into the asteroid and you're mining away, you accidentally might do too much, or the hole's too big, and you want to put rock back. I mean, so that's one idea, and that kind of link with that is like cement, and actually using putting non-metal things to on the asteroids and stuff.
Yeah, this is a good idea. We have actually one project that we are not speaking about, and that's the place where we are just now doing something like this.
Okay.
So it can be a good idea to introduce this to space engineers.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if have you ever played Starforge?
I don't know if I've played it, but I know stuff.
Yeah, but it's basically that's where the idea came from. Is there's a tool that if you have rock in your inventory, you can put it back and rebuild the land kind of thing. And you can build sculptures like rock sculptures, but and with the Xbox thing, this is kind of a question that might come with it. Have you considered the whole gamepad and joystick support? Because obviously you can use it. I think you can get third-party programs to allow controller and stuff. But is that another something that you might look at?
You mean like if we implement Xbox controller for Xbox, then we may as well put it to PC version of the game?
Okay.
Yeah, this definitely it's probably possible. And the actual scheme of the Xbox controller has not been even analyzed at this moment. And it's just too soon, and it will be actually a challenge because there is so many commands in space engineers, and how to put it on the controller. So we'll need to figure out something, and but I believe we'll do something.
Cool. Okay. Okay. So this is one. Say, wondering whether you ever thought about putting a female engineer in Space Engineers.
You mean like replacing or adding?
Adding, so that you can have male or female. And I think there's been a couple of threads about this, and some people are very vocal for it, and some people say, don't worry, it's not that important. But is it something that you've considered?
Actually, no.
No.
But I don't think that there is some way to understand if it is a male or a female. Anyway, you don't see the person.
I think he looks more male.
He looks more
male. Yeah, he looks more male. It's maybe wide shoulders,
Because they're suit anyway, so you can't have.
Yeah, I guess it could be anything, but I think maybe just like a slimmer suit, maybe thinner arms, maybe, I don't know, but it was just one of the suggestions.
So not actively, because again it's with these priorities.
Yeah.
And so we would. The thing is that we would need to take the 3D artist who is like redesigning the models and textures, and also doing some things with animations, and he would need to do this thing, and I am assuming that it will take him a couple of weeks at least to do a proper model, and it's just not worth, And also we think that players, they want us to focus on, for example, optimizations and reducing polygon counts in some models, and so I think that they would be unhappy if they see us adding this useless or not useless models,
I see what you mean.
And not fixing or making better the more important things.
Because I think you're bug tracking down the bugs and stuff and fixing the game and optimizing it, it's kind of it's an ongoing thing. But as the game is getting more and more complex, there's more things to break. It's when it went back in October and stuff, there wasn't too many things to go wrong.
Exactly.
Now there's the conveyor system and the merge blocks, all the different things that have to all merge together to work as one. So yeah, I see that. And I mean, you could say with the female engineer thing, it's a modding question, allowing better supporting custom characters. So you might have seen the Sachin Dachi. He made like a robot. I'm not sure if you've seen it, but currently it's quite hard to make custom characters because of the bones and the weighting and stuff. Is it something, again, another thing on the list of things to do, making it easier to make custom characters?
Well, I don't know exactly what's if we are. I mean, right now we are doing something with animations, but
okay.
We are adding some new bones and things like this, but I think it's already possible to mod characters.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's just hard.
Yeah, but I think that's the thing that animations is really a hard job because you have many these bones, and all these blending things and so on. And I remember that when we were actually adding the character to Space Engineers a year ago, we had also many problems. Like you export something from 3D Studio Max, it looks okay in 3D Studio Max, you import it to the game, and now there's just a crazy bug.
Yeah.
And you don't know why, and then you will start searching Google, blah blah blah, and you will find out they have some bone which is inverted or something like that, and then you fix it, and you go to the next thing, then maybe some other problem. So with animations, always this crazy little problems.
It's hard work, yeah.
So I don't think it will be. It ever will be super easy.
No.
It's not like if you want to change a texture, it's usually anybody can do that.
Yeah.
Just open it somewhere and change it. But animations is a lot harder than just models.
I think adding more bones would help. I'm pretty sure that's the issue that some people are having with it, and causing when especially doing animations, the weird joints would look quite odd and stuff. But I think that comes down to lack of bones. So how do you feel about the whole early access? Has it been worth it, and any future projects, games, would you use early access again?
Yeah, definitely it's good for us, and I would say the best thing about early access is that we have real customers, and so that's a real person who kind of pushes us to do things. And it's like a boss, standing over us, something like that. And whereas if we were just working on the game for ourselves, closed doors, nobody would see what we are doing, maybe we would tend to redo things forever. Like these developers, they usually do this. They forget about deadlines, milestone, and real goals, and they just start creating something amazing, and they never stop. They just they just have one idea, and before they finish the idea, they get another idea. They start working on the second idea, forget the first idea, and they just jump from one idea to another idea and never finish anything. And we didn't do this because even when we were like in stealth mode, we were going from milestone to milestone. It was really very nice. But when there is real customer and everything we do is under public scrutiny,
yeah,
this is what
it keeps you going, doesn't it? It motivates you to carry on.
This is why even our other projects need to at least emulate this process. And we have this AI secret project.
Oh yeah.
And we don't have customers there, which is a huge disadvantage. From this point of view, it's like nobody's pushing us. So we are actually emulating this, and it's like somebody's doing something, and his customers are the other guys in the team. You know, so we need to emulate it, because if there is no pressure, and by pressure I don't mean like we are fighting or something. It's just this, like, you need to feel that there is some real need for what you do, and you have some limited resources, limited time. It's not like you're in heaven and you can do forever whatever.
Sadly not, no.
Yeah. So I think this is the best thing about early access, that you have real customers, real feedback, real pressure. You also get some money, which is good for some developers like us, but other developers, I don't think they are so happy. And you know, because there are some who started to sell their games on early access, and they don't make enough, even to support just one guy. So I think this is
it's better for them. Even for them it's better, because they see that there is no interest in this project, so they abandon it.
They sold something to people, you know, somebody paid, and if they don't finish the game, if they just cancel it,
they
will be upset. So
there's been a couple, hasn't there, recently? But and I say, I mean, people, I've seen a lot of recently articles about people not liking early access and being, but Space Engineers is one of the few that people say, because whenever people complain about early access, they say get Space Engineers. That's the right way to do early access, you know. And I think it's one of the things that I think in the kind of game community, Space Engineers has kind of become quite famous for being, well, a great game, but a success of early access. So that's good.
And I would recommend early access I would recommend it to everybody who can sustain this kind of development as we do it, like
hard work,
week to week. Actually, it's not like we are dying here or something like that. You know,
that's good. That's good.
People have normal life. We don't have crunches or these things. It's just like you need to plan carefully. You need to make sure that like we have always some feature, some like near-term feature, and then also we have long-term features. We need to be careful that we have enough time to test things, and then even if there are some bugs, in Thursday night, we are still able to fix it on Friday or maybe Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah.
And but the thing is that we have this strict deadline on Thursdays, and so nobody from the team can say like, let's move this for 2 days or 3 days. Okay. This is the best thing, because usually people are used to just moving deadlines, and it's like there is even this programmer's joke, and it's like one programmer is saying like, I always laugh when I hear a deadline passing by.
Yeah.
And that's the wrongest possible attitude for deadlines, because if you have deadline, then you will prioritize all other things to meet the deadline. That's the idea, and thanks to this we are able to get like week after week. I don't think we missed any week.
We haven't, no. Is it ever been close where you've sort of, because I was speaking about how the factions update, everyone was like, was it coming out today, and midnight, Thomas was still sat here,
Sometimes there are some last moment issues.
Yeah.
And actually, usually it's with the video that the video becomes big, and it takes a lot of time to export and upload and so on. And if you just make one mistake, you need to redo the whole thing and wait again. So usually it's video, and but the thing is, I mean, we are expecting that we will make mistakes and last moment mistakes, bugs. So we are planning for this, and we have always some reserve. Of course, sometimes you just take the reserve and so. But so what I think is great on Early Access is that the entire development process is more organized and more like.
You can just go week to week, and you have targets, and it's easy to see.
You cannot just hide behind the walls and be like, we are 5 years developing some game. Nobody ever saw the game. You know, we're just developing it, and it will be the best game ever. So I think that's the wrong way how to do it. And so that's it.
Cool. I say, and earlier you mentioned about your super secret AI project. Is there any more you can share with us here? Tell us about.
Not right now. It's just not game related.
Okay. Yeah.
And but
I had a couple of people just ask. Yeah, and they say not to do with space engineers, just fascinated what it could, what we could be seeing in the future.
We'll talk about this later. I'm quite sure, but not right now.
Yeah, that's fine. That's totally fine. And have you had a look at? Have you thought about bringing ladders back? I say like 5 or 6 people asking about ladders.
Okay, well, let's say I shouldn't promise anything.
No.
But when I think about this, it was a mistake to add them in the first place because we didn't really need them so much. And then I think it was a mistake to remove them, because when you are in early access, one of the things you shouldn't do is remove something. It's like the obvious mistake. But there were many technical issues with ladders. It's really not that simple. But I just discussed this a few days ago with one of my colleagues, and he said that now we probably would be able to do them properly.
Oh, cool.
Because even we are learning more and more about the entire space engineers thing. So today we are definitely smarter than we were 6 months ago and so on. So probably today we would be able to do it better and without the issues.
Is the Virage engine, are you constantly building on it, adding more things to it and stuff? Because I remember obviously, I might be wrong here, but to start off with, was it quite hard to do transparencies? No, you just hadn't added it. Yeah.
It was just a matter of time. And with transparencies, it was like I knew it's work for a couple days, because the only thing you need to do basically is when you render transparent polygons, you need to sort them by distance. So first you render the furthest away polygons, and then you render the close, because you need the order in the rendering. And we don't usually do sorting of polygons in the game. And so we just had to move these transparent polygons to billboards, particles.
Okay.
These are already transparent and they are already being sorted. And so we just needed to do this, add some support for 3D artists so they can say this polygon is transparent, this is not transparent. And so it was just a couple days of work. But I was always like, okay, couple days of work, but there are probably more important things than transparent geometry. But then Peter or Andre or somebody, they just did it, and it looked so cool. Then it was there, And
there's going to be some pretty exciting things, I think. So I know you released the test of the kind of like holographic thing. I'm sure in the future I'm sure the modders are hard at work trying to cut some cool stuff like that.
So transparency is not really a big issue. It's just always felt like this is not the most important thing, but actually it's nice.
Yeah, it is nice.
Like windows and glasses and all these things, they add a lot of realism.
Yeah. It's got a question about, I think I'm actually very excited about. You spoke about maybe 4 or 5 months ago about the idea of printing the ships in real life, and yes, they said, the guy asked, will they enable 3D printer output files? So just the ability to save it to like a format so they can print them out if they've got their own printers, and also about you selling them or having a printing company that you they're the middle people. So
So you think people will be interested in this?
Yeah, well, I am. I mean, there are people, because a couple of people asked me about it, and I say I would love to, just on my desk have a little ship I made or something. This stuff seems really cool because it's unique in a sense. Well, Minecraft has it now.
We already experimented with this. We actually posted some photos. Right?
Yeah.
And it was export from the game, but it's under developer keys, hidden somewhere.
Right.
And so it kind of already is in the game, but the thing is that why we didn't do this official is there are some technical or quality issues with 3D printing, which means that when you print something which is too tiny, or how to say this, like it's not huge, it's slim, like
Thin.
Exactly, thin.
Yeah.
So when it's too thin, the 3D printers can just screw up the whole thing and it will break or something like that. So the thing is that if we let people export these files today and they would print them, and these things would break, they would probably break, like 90% of them would probably break. That's not good.
No.
So it's better to not give them this false.
Yeah.
And so maybe we will think this through. Maybe we will redo some models so they are 3D printer friendly, or make some version that's 3D printer friendly. We'll see. And I mean, from our side, our point of view, it's really the simple thing, because you just take all the models and all the like polygons and all these things and just put it in one OBJ file, and that's it. Like super simple.
Yeah, it's definitely something that I think would be quite cool to have, because it's unique as well in a sense. Okay, so there's one about another modding question, just about when will there be kind of more modding capabilities, maybe like an API, or the ability to make a model and then you can decide what it is, because obviously at the moment you can make a generator, which is a generator, but you can't have you can use functions that are in the game already. So
yeah, one of the things we are working right now, and Jan, which you shake hand with, is working on modding API right now.
Oh, cool! That's good. That's great news.
I don't want to say how exactly this will work. Už to chceš spustit?
George měl upravit text and stuff.
So I don't want to say how exactly this will work, because it still may change. We just started like 2 days ago or something like that. But the idea is that, well, I don't want to say, because maybe something will change, and then it won't be true what I said. Yeah. But the idea is to let people change the behavior of the game, and let's hope we'll be able to open it as much as possible, like almost 100%, but that's what we hope. I don't know if it will be possible, but that's where we are aiming, and this feature will come out quite soon, at least the first phase of this feature.
Nice.
And I think it will be great.
It will be really good. I know there's a lot of modders who they've got great ideas of how they can stuff, but it's just not possible right now.
And see, this is why we are actually postponing some other features, for example planets, because when you think about it, what is better to give people today, modding of 3D models, characters, and modding API, or planets, and then they will have to wait 6 months or something like that for modding API. So it's always this, what's the most important thing today?
This is a question that you've answered before, I think, and you said it wasn't too important, but I'll ask it now. It's just about all upgrades. So that's upgrades for blocks. So you have tiers. So you could have it would be bigger, more efficient, faster. Maybe assemble it at different versions, and that also obviously comes to characters. So people bigger backpacks. You can carry batteries to recharge, maybe Kevlar plating, stuff like that. So I know at one point you didn't want to go into customization too much, but this is the idea of tiers and upgrades for things.
Well, the basic premise of Space Engineers was that a player is advancing by his creations, not just by unlocking some numbers, you know, like some levels or something like that in game, but actually building things that then he is using for something better. This was always the premise, and it was also like beneficial to us because we wanted to move forward with this game as soon as possible and focus more on the mechanical, physical things. And so we didn't want to spend too much time on thinking or maybe overthinking this particular idea of upgrades. So we just decided like, okay, player, if he wants to advance, he will be just building better and better creations, basically. And we can always go back and rethink the whole thing, you know. So I don't want to say no, because I know that this is something important for people. But we haven't thought about this like too much.
Okay, so yeah, could you talk any more about, programming? So, what is that the next big thing coming to Space Engineers in terms of, you know, obviously you had like Faction as like a big milestone. Is programming
modding API is the next thing.
Cool.
And then very connected to it, but a slightly different topic is programmable blocks and programmable HUD. That's what I wrote on my blog. And that would be the next step. And modding API is mostly for modders, and it's the really low-level access to everything in the game. And programming modules, blocks will be mostly about. It will be an in-game thing, so you could be able to program only things that the engineer in the game, astronaut, would be actually able to program, you know.
Oh, cool. So it wouldn't just be in like some little box and you'd be like typing little code in, because it'd be more. And would it be user friendly? So maybe workshop, but like you can share programming stuff.
Obviously, you'd be able to share these things on workshop. But it was more like if you have a block in the game, you can write some simple program for the block. That, for example, if there is some sensor and the sensor detects something, it will turn some lights on or off. This kind of thing. But in programmable modules, you wouldn't be able to write mission scripts or change HUD. I mean, actually, you would be able to change HUD. I mean, something else like some rendering code and things like that.
Yeah, because I say for myself, I can't code. I'd have to rely on people who can to make me stuff. And this is the question here is about. Would it be your own kind of program language, or would it use one of the existing kind of...
existing, and tend to use C# for this.
C#?
The game itself is made in C#. So
that would make sense.
It makes sense, and we are used to C#. And then there are some actual advantages that are good for using C#. So it's still C#.
Okay guys, that's the end of part 1, and I hope that you're enjoying it so far and that you've found out some interesting stuff. If you haven't had your question answered that you asked me, don't worry, because in the next couple of days I will be uploading part 2, which has about 45 minutes of questions and answers, so there's a very good chance that your question will be answered then. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and stay tuned for the second part. In the meantime, if you fancy entering a competition and winning some prizes, then take a look at my screenshot competition, and it's got a couple days left on that, so if you get your entries in quick enough, there's a chance of winning some games. So that's all for today guys, I'll see you next time.